All right. Shalom Alaikum. Peace and blessings to everybody. Welcome to True Flicks Network, The Way of Yah. We back with part 2 right now tonight for Shabbat, Hidden Origins of the Euro Gentile with the dear brother Prince Charlene Dean, the mighty Hebrew. Shout outs to you, my brother. And again, thank you for being here to bring this powerful lesson. If you missed part 1, go back on our channel and you can watch part 1 because we're about to get into part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, trust me, you don't want to miss that because the brother dropped a lot of jewels. But we're going to get into part 2. All right, but before we do that, Mighty Hebrew, could you please drop this new song, this heat, this banger? You know what I'm saying? Like, brother, you've been going in. Like, this is what, your 3rd album, 4th album?
Yeah. I'm working on my 3rd. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme, intelligent, one of our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Those striving for righteousness' sake, I say it to the family, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, I'm working on my 3rd album now, War Cloud. This is the single right here. It's a Mad, Mad World, produced by DJ Los and produced by Kantar, Chief Kantar. Yeah, but DJ Los, he did the whole entire beat, and Chief Kantar, he just laid it down and put some graphics in it, and you know what I mean, special effects, and just added a little flavor to it. But yeah, this new album, War Cloud, I'm already halfway finished the album now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working hard on this album, and it is what it is, War Cloud. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the cloud is symbolic to my mind. You know what I'm saying? So look out for that in the next couple months. Let's let the world hear this right here. This right here is called It's a Mad, Mad World. My latest single just came out a week ago here on True Flicks Network. Let's get it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Break his teeth. I see the beast coming forth the north, sparking in the dark. Join the arc, sending the arch with degrees from the east. Tanzania be fuck Illuminati, like Malcolm hold the shoddy. Enemy spotting the drop I got you. Turn the city Gotham, music gothic. I was straight like the shaka. Uptown spit fire vodka on 9-5 rock bronze. And Nazareth a war calm. Muslims call the Adon thing Shema, O Yisrael, we raise out of hell. Break gates, those enslaved, animated cape. Two-faced Jake Snake reside in the brain. Stimulate and lower hate. The Kali you can age with blood stains and pose vamp. The lost amp ramming schizophrenics. Damn it, I see the puppet master disaster. Can't stop, muscle rock, I'm the master. Leeway got the globe, I'm the last dragon. Always be first. You drop a verse, I impose a Yah curse. Burst for truth, obey my thirst. Talk, get your jaw broke. Herb ass nigga, we made your whole all figures. Fuck Tommy Hill, no more slaves in the field. We ram any squad, keep it real. Never fake a dollar bill. Come close, get popped like pain pills. I see the blue still running me down in the wilderness in the end. We fulfill the will. We fulfill the will. With real skill. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. I destroy MCs, the science of my mind reign supreme on this rap theme shit. I take it to an extreme, like a black Lotus priest in a cipher. I eat you up like pieces of Reese's. Catch the anthropology of my word currency. You fucking with me? You need an emergency surgery on the parts of your body from my acid main chemistry attacking the carbon of your bone anatomy. I put 99 pressure points in your body like cavities. Leave you there for a tragedy. On the ground, face down, you're leaking. Your soul's running out like batteries. Fucking with the Apache. With the Minecraft, just your Kazuki. You get a pistol whip from the butt of the battle gun. Like females getting fucked up and pointing movies and flicks behind my back. Suckers talk shit and my face you on my dick. As well as your sister roulette. Play Russian if you want, watch you get sickle. Baby moms always wanna give me pussy tissue. Come close to you thoughts that I drop you, then stomp you and swamp your crew. Until I see your brains wasted on the ground like noodles. Stalk your family like Cujo. I'll blow up like atoms from the shooting of top booms and put fools in earth tombs like raccoons. You switch styles from straight to Sassoon. On the mic you be babbling like baboons. Bust you like a balloon and assassinate your whole platoon. Like I was a con, you the enemy American in Vietnam. Black cop bootlickers wanna be Nazis. Minds building on inferiority. Land deep in me has a high superiority. I'm Elohim and with a powerful killer army. You can't harm me, back the fuck about me. Before you thoughts leave your brain soggy. And your body holy with no matrimony, no ceremonies. What nigga? It's a mad, mad world, check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world, check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world, check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world, check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC.
Get your weapon. I already have mine. That's my arms. Your sword's good, I admit. Still, if you should lose it, you're finished. But my arms, they always stay with me.
Peace and blessings. Shalom alaikum to everybody, man. As always, the mighty Hebrew keep bringing that fire music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so tonight we're gonna go ahead and get into this lesson. Let me pull up the presentation real quick.
Okay, let's get on it. You ready?
Yeah, it's on the way.
First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme, intelligent, powerful one of our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Let's get it. So like I was saying yesterday, I was coming at, this concept that we have to come amongst those that put us in captivity and have us in the state of a demise mentality by way of Western academia. So I was coming from out of the book, The Resurrection, from Judgment to Post-Judgment by the late Adonenu, Rabbeinu Ben Ami Ben Yisrael HaMoshiach. And I was breaking down the word institution and institute along with institutionalized. So I'm going to recap, start at. The builders are immaculate. The campuses are extensive. The equipment is state of the art. Instructors are plentiful and salaries are rewarded. These are all the lures to attract innocent souls to enter within her walls. They are called institutes or institutes of higher learning. They are the heartbeat and the pulse of the Euro-Gentile hybrid anti-y'all social system. One, institution. One, an elementary principle recognized as authoritative. So this is why when you see these platforms and they constantly try to put in our minds that we have to go to Western academia to get recognition. This academic scholar said this PhD, the academic consensus, peer review, etc., verse what was outlined in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. We are to seek the elders. That's who we are to seek. Not know you're a Gentile who enslaved us. Two, a collection of such principles, a significant practice, behavior, relationship in a society or culture. So they're conforming by the way of such principles and practices and their behavior. Okay, it's showing who they are. This is why when you go to these institutions, these universities, when you get a degree, it gives the identification or the seal of one that has been trained. This is why I said we go back to the Hebraic concepts of dedication versus education, because dedication, you moving forward and upward in Yah consciousness. So as the body politic, the children of Israel grows spiritually, morally, ethically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, our understanding of the Torah broadens, okay? Then you have institutionalized, one, to make or give the character of an institution. Institutions have character. This is why you talk a certain way. Your behavior becomes bourgeois. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Lord, there's this attitude that overtakes you, mm-hmm. but that's all Greco-Roman thought. Right. It's all Hellenism. Mm-hmm. So let's continue on. After reading the above definitions, it becomes evident that the structures are secondary, while the actual institutions are those deemed qualified to graduate by the academic overseers. A hidden process far beyond the essential courses being offered is in progress in every Euro-Gentile institution, and the ramifications had left both people and environment affected with deadly deception. So when you go into these institutions of higher learning, you are learning to be educational and a strategic deceiver by the way of education. This is why I developed the Mighty Hebrew University to challenge Western academia. To destroy an institution of thought, you have to have an institution of thought to destroy that. Mm-hmm. We can't no more just talk. We have to create institutions of higher learning. You see, to combat what we have took on as a social norm. The slave master, he ain't giving you nothing to free you. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Why would he do that? His whole objective was to enslave you by the way of institutions of higher learning. You see this when you read the book, Miseducation of a Negro. We thought Carter G. Wilson was in our best interest, but he wasn't. When you read books by W.E.B. Du Bois, remember, their objective was to make the new Negro a Eurocentric idea that was grafted by the mind of a devil, and then impose that thought process on our people. So now our people think the only way to be successful is that they have to deal in the world of Western academia. They have used our people as the beacon of a false, excellent light to the world that Western academia is the best thing that could have happened to so-called Africans and indigenous and aboriginal people worldwide. You want to be like Master Sick, I'm sick, right?
Okay.
Master House burned, my house burned. Let's get it. Let's talk about it. Watch this. It says, 4 years or more have been set as the time span necessary to institutionalize what is authentic and who is authoritative. Listen to this again. He's challenging y'all. The Black conscious community, he's challenging y'all. Ben Ami. May he rest in completeness in the osulated world of existence and pure will. Listen to what he says. 4 years or more have been set as the time span necessary to institutionalize what is authentic and who is authoritative. This is why they say, source up, academic consensus. Was it peer review? Who controls this?
Right.
Who controls this stuff? And our people don't control this. Mm-hmm. Look, he says authoritative, grooming a student whose behavior would testify of his or her acceptance and promise not to interfere with or challenge the teachings. That's why they won't challenge Western academia. They won't challenge that devil because they've been institutionalized not to.
Right.
And what they use to come up against those that want to challenge Western academia, they say they pseudo. He's pseudo. She's pseudo. They use that word pseudo so no one can question the institutionalization that has taken place within our brains by these devils. This is the same man that gutted your mother, tied her up, hung her upside down, cut the baby out the stomach, stomped the baby to the ground, and then slit her damn throat. And this is who you go after and say, oh, this is the best thing that ever happened to us. Do y'all act like this was long time ago? They still lynching people down south.
Facts.
They still lynching people all over the United States. And guess what? Every time somebody get lynched, they say, that was a suicide. And y'all just go for it.
Right.
Because of institutionalized learning. It causes you not to challenge these people, whether you're talking psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You see? Watch. Teachings or definitions after which they receive their certificate. Upon completion of their courses, their ears are deafened to truth and their eyes are blind to reality. That's why they can stupidly say the Hebrews were white. That's why you got the late Chancellor Williams saying in Destruction of a Black Civilization that the Hebrews were white. This is what miseducation, correctly, misdedication will do to you if you're not on point.
Facts.
Western academia causes one to be egotistical to such a point that you telling people in Africa who they not, and you don't even know who you are.
Right.
To tell somebody who they not. Let's go.
Let's get
Let's go. Let's cut these niggas. Right?
Let's go.
Upon completion of their courses, their ears are deafened to truth and their eyes are blind to reality. They naturally gravitate to the degenerative process, rejecting a regenerative mode of thinking. That's why they don't talk or try to build or have any think tank discussions or any type of workshops that will get us the hell from out of captivity. It is nothing but intellectual masturbation to see who has the most spiritual ride and intellectual, so to say. Oh, I just beat him in the debate. No, I beat him in the debate. But what are you doing about the little children getting shot up in the street? Drugs, murder, rape, robbery. What happened when them cops just recently ran down that car and knew that babies was in the car, and the police dispatcher told them it was police, and that man, little boy, got crushed to death.
Come on,
in
now.
that ditch.
And lying to their face. And lying to their face, telling them that ain't what they did, with the proof showing you exactly what they did, but they're gonna turn and look at you in your eye and say, oh, I ain't do that.
Right.
Fact.
But y'all love them. See, I have to first show you the psychosis of this beast.
Facts.
Why are you arguing with the you're a Gentile if he told you he evolved from apes or primate? Don't argue. That's his history. That's his history. That's who he say he come. You up there, no, no, that's his history. That's not our history. That's his history. Let him tell his story. Watch. This gonna get deep tonight, right? The fruit of your labor will make the original your friend, your enemy, and the imitation your enemy, your friend. You made these people your friend. You sitting up here on social media attacking the most fastest and largest so-called quote unquote black revolutionary movement right now, the Hebrew Israelites. Worldwide, making videos upon videos upon videos upon videos upon. This is COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program to what? To stop the rise of a black messiah who would electrify the nationalistic aims of black America. That's why they astrologists, they said, was it Malcolm? Huh? Was it King? Huh? Was it Huey? Huh? They murdered them all. They star glazers peeped that it was the time and season of the rise of a Messiah. You sitting up there looking in the clouds. What do Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36 and 37 say? I will send you and your king into a strange land, which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you will worship idols, even wood and stone. And I will make you an object of horror. A proverb in the Bible. He said, I send you and your king.
And your king.
So that means that the king is going to come from out of the lawns of black Americans.
Facts.
The king was the anointed Moshiach. And you waiting for one to come out the clouds, and they came on a slave ship with you. That's why we always had charismatic leaders that rose in the power, and they had to stop them.
Facts.
They defame our people. I just watched the clip of the old head Iron Mike Tyson when he was a young boy. And when he first got out of jail, and he wanted to like cry. Said, man, look, they embarrassed me in front of the whole world, called me a rapist. And all this. And the psychological damage that this world has imposed on Israel. If you notice, two things that occur with the men and women in our nation, amongst them devils, with their ritualistic murders. When it comes to the men, those that they see that as a potential threat, they always give them a sex charge. Always. Anybody that has any form of power to stop these people, they give them a sex charge so the world can look at them as deviants.
Right.
And if they speaking the truth, who gonna listen to a damn rapist or a pedophile?
Right.
Because you done slandered the person's name.
Yeah.
Then with the women, why every time when we see a woman get empowered in movies, she only becomes empowered after she is raped? Like when you watch the movie The Woman King, she get this power after she was raped. But what it's showing is that the Euro Gentile has this caveman beast mentality of hitting the woman in the head with a club and dragging her by her hair and taking her in a cave and raping her. This is the mentality of these people. That's why everything about them is about, it has something to do with a sex scandal, the ravishing and the rape. Even back then, when they tried to impose that fear factor into our people, what did they have? The black man as an image of a big King Kong gorilla ravaging a little puny white woman. This is why they've always tried to stamp our people as rapists, even since the times of slavery. But what it was is that the mistress of the house, when master would leave, she would be raping and molesting the slaves.
Right.
That mistress was a goddamn whore. You seen it in the movie Mandinka.
Yeah.
And that white woman forced Mandinka to have sex with her. And
Right.
then when the baby came, it was a nigga baby. That's scary. This is, you gotta understand that they're going to manifest them being isolated in these caves, and they were barbaric. You can read this in a book called Iceman Inheritance. And you also can go to Sheikh Anta Diop's book, Civilization of Barbarism. You can also go to the late Dr. Francis Quest Welson's book, The ISIS Papers.
Okay.
You can also go into Yorugu, and they show you, they psychoanalyze these devils. They psychoanalyze these devils and their character and their behavior. It's caveman behavior, beastman behavior. But you love these so-called people that hate your guts.
Hate you.
Facts. Hate you. Let's go. Watch this. Watch this. You have been unwittingly made to feel that you need the imitation to live, while you are steadily moving away from the original way, the true life. And true life. Listen. The prophets is undoubtedly referring to, the prophet is undoubtedly referring to the educational institutions utilized by the spirit of error to bring forth individuals to propagate the components required for gross darkness to prevail. This is why it's this gross attack on the Bible. I just seen a post where Uncle Phil had to challenge his sister because she said, if the black man feel as though is something wrong with dating a transgender, he's homophobic, he's unnatural, he's wicked, that a black man should date transgenders because they women too. Look how sick. I mean, this is the sickest shit ever right now. So you mean to tell me because I like a real woman,
right,
is something wrong with me?
Right, there's something wrong with you. Right.
Something wrong with us. So now I blame the so-called black woman for this, because y'all use that damn Blade Runner as a passive filter to suck the masculinity from that passive filter, that Blade Runner. That's the word we're going to use. We all know what I'm talking about, right? And then she goes home and spit that to her lover, to her man, to dominate. This is why you seen it creeping with Flip Wilson. Why is it that all the major actors damn near got to put a dress on?
Right.
You got to see, we talking about the origins of the Euro Gentile, right? And how when they conquered, they imposed this on the people.
Right.
Right? So Flip, you seen it. They called David Chappelle crazy. This Oprah Winfrey said, so you mean to tell me you ain't take the 30 million? Are you sick, baby? She said he was crazy because he ain't want to put on a dress.
Right. Man.
I mean, like, you mean to tell me you claim you're a Christian, but don't the Bible say not to cross dress?
Right. It says.
But you're a Christian.
That's what they say.
He crazy because he don't want to wear a dress.
Yeah, a lot of them, they don't even believe what it is that they believe. They don't even have a clue. They don't have a clue what they believe. You know, they just follow the populace. You know what I mean? They don't never really take time to dig in there and see exactly what it is they believe, how their religion got started. Nobody took that time to do the research. Like you said, they never really went back to challenge academia. They didn't challenge the pastor because, again, you're taught not to question the pastor and not to question God. But go ahead.
Okay. And if we talking about in slavery, there were institutions set up to continue the enslavement of the Negro, the so-called Negro. You have to tear down the institutions.
Right.
Because racism is institutionalized behavior.
Right. Exactly. And that's the problem. That's the problem. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you struck a nerve when you said that, because, again, everybody out here in the conscious community is making 1,000 videos about us as individuals rather than making videos and attacking the institutions. You know, if we address the institutions, if we address the academia, then we will reshape the minds of the people, because now we're forcing and giving them an option to choose, because now you're getting a chance to see them being exposed. You follow me? For an example, within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, I'm going to speak about this real quick, and I'm going to let you get back.
No, take your time. Take your time.
But within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because I come from that background, they have their different, divisions within the church, the different conferences. Where the black conferences don't get started until this black woman she dies inside of the hospital. So as a result of the activism that took place, they began the black conferences within the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But prior to that, it was all white conferences. You follow me? So now that the black conferences, you got black leaders now. Now they're putting on. Now they got the chest poked out. Now, you follow me? So again, like you were just saying, now you got your master's degree, you got your PhD degree in their philosophy. They giving you a position. They giving you a church. You got some type of status and position now to further their agenda, when you had the opportunity at that time to challenge academia, but instead you took the chance to further yourself. You follow me? People, we're some real selfish people, man. Rather, we'll take the money and the goal for ourselves rather than trying to build a nation of people. And that's what you're doing here by challenging the academia. But go ahead, though, my brother.
Okay, hallelujah. And look, and listen to this. But what is the point of reference from which this prognosis of decline can be determined? Even from a very general perspective, there exists some unchangeable, essential, fundamental elements that determine manhood, womanhood, childhood, and family. Without the continuous application of those fundamental principles, man finds himself in a constant state of decline, behavior characterized by error and erroneous assumptions, lives filled with mistakes and poor judgment, signs of a continuous diminishing understanding of what is right and what is wrong. In spite of this progression of degenerative development, Hashatan conveys a message that sinful behavior and its implications are not to be taken seriously. Have you considered how the knowledge you apply, the behavior you manifest, is moving you on a path from station to station? Recently, Bill Cosby sounded off on the behavior of the black youth. And you can go to the debate continues as Cosby criticized black youth by Hamel R. Harris and Paul Farhide, Washington Post staff writers, July 3rd, 2004. And they got mad at Bill Cosby because of the fact he exposed what is going on in the black community and what we have accepted as an academic norm. So now put the PowerPoint up, because we're going to come back to this. Put the PowerPoint up. It's time for Judgment Day for these people, man. And that's the problem. And I want to read why you put that up. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 55:7 and verse 11. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and into our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Hallelujah. Selah. Now, as we see the image of this beast man, Hanuman, which is a Sanskrit word that developed the English word human. And I showed that Rama, right, from the first part of the hidden origins of the Euro-Gentile so-called race. And I showed that Rama was this quote-unquote God that said to create these beastmen creatures. Then I showed scientifically, by the way of paleontology, right, that they found a 14.8 million BCE bones in the Indian subcontinent that they named Ramapithecus. Rama, the deity, Pithecus, 8. Go to the next slide. We're about to set fire to this. So now, what do you see? Ramapithecus. This is the bones, and this is a reconstruction of the bones that they found in the Indian subcontinent along with Tanzania. And they reconstructed the bones, and this is how they claim that it looks. Go to the next slide. Read that, Lord, to us. I'm gonna have you be the Corday today. Tumshi Baraki Shah Adoni.
Why is it called Ramapithecus? Ramapithecus, a fossil anthropoid ape of the Miocene epoch, known from remains found in Southwest Asia and East Africa, and probably ancestral to the orangutan. It is named from Rama plus Greek Pithekos, ape.
See that? And what's the source? And what's your source? The source right down the bottom.
Wikipedia.com, Ramapithecus.
Come on, man. Come on. So my thing is aligning the archaic records with the scientific data about their origins. Next slide. So now we in Legends of Atlantis, Lost Lemuria by W. Scott Elliott. I got the book right here myself. See, they playing these games. Go to the next slide. Let's find out what I'm saying is true or if it's false. Now we in something when you read in the Ramayana records is known as the sin of the mindless. So let's see what the sin of the mindless is saying. We're going into the oldest records in the world. It says in the book, Legends of Atlantis, Lost Lemuria, page 127, by minor archaeologist W. Scott Elliott, Sin of the Mindless. The sinful acts of the mindless men at the first separation of the sexes have been referred to in the words of the stanza of the archaic book of Zion. No commentary is needed. So what we seeing is talking about the sin of the mindless, the first separation of the sexes, when you go into the bitter sheet and
Mm-hmm.
it talks about, oh, they have become as gods, knowing good and evil, meaning, oh, now they are conscious, because originally we was dealing with what is known as instinctive will,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And we have both masculine and feminine polarities. But then when you go into Bereshit or Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, now you see that Adam goes into a deep sleep. The deep sleep is pure esoteric. It is talking about the separation of the polarities into sexes.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Black conscious Afrocentric community, talking about women was on the planet first, no. Some Hebrew Israelites that say men was on the planet first, no. Both men and women came on the planet at the same time. And as Brother Anthony McMillan said, we talking about a devolution, not an evolution. I'm challenging these people, man. They lied to us, man, and we ran with that. And if you're dealing with evolution, you're dealing with white supremacy, because with evolution, whoever was last to evolve on the social and evolutionary chain is the best species. And the last one to evolve is that goddamn devil, the white man. That's why they start you with these primates and then to the original people and down into the perfect Homo sapiens sapien, the so-called white man.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that he's the better species.
Right.
And they use pseudosciences of craniology, paleontology, lineal history to show that you were the subhuman. You were the beast of the field to these people. Let's get it. Stanza is a Sanskrit Tibetan word that means verse. No commentary is needed. So let's get it. It says, during the third race, meaning the Tamanadu, Lumeria, antediluvian, right? The boneless animals grew and changed. They became animals with bones and their bodies became solid, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
The animals separated first, right? They began to breed. The twofold man separated also, meaning Ha'adam became Zakawah Nikiva, male and female. He said, let us as they, let us unite and make creatures. They did. As a matter of fact, real quick, I need you to show a clip while I'm reading this. I need you to type in YouTube Tribe 60-minute special, Tribe Walk on All Fours. They exist today. Can you do that and show the people that 50-second clipping? Or can you do that? Or do you want me to send it to you real quick?
Now go ahead. What was the name of it again?
Just type in 60-minute special, Tribe Walking on All Fours, and watch it pop up. Because I want y'all to see this beast man. You see, this ain't nothing I'm making up. This is what they said. There, go right there, the second one. Hit that. Show the world what we dealing with here.
Grammarly's advanced tone suggestions can help. Getting the tone just right can help close that important deal when you write it just right. Click the blue button to download Grammarly today.
Okay, here we go. Watch this.
You're about to see something truly astounding. A discovery that's caused an absolute sensation. One that could have untold significance for every one of us. And not only that, it's a totally engrossing mystery story too. You're about to meet a family that shouldn't exist, a family like no other. They could just be the missing link between man and ape, the holy grail scientists have sought for generations. They're living, breathing men and women, but they walk on all fours, just as we did 4 million years ago. And until this film was shot, they were hidden away. unseen by the outside world. A remote village in Turkey. Here, hidden from the world, lives an extraordinary family. A family whose very existence could rewrite the evolution textbooks.
I was really fascinated. Here are humans doing things that they're not meant to be doing.
For the past year, their existence has been known to just a handful of experts who have been sworn to secrecy. When I heard of it myself, I was intrigued, but nothing prepared me for the reality. Now, finally, the secret can be revealed.
The immediate response I had was that I couldn't believe my eyes. I had never expected that, even under the most extraordinary scientific fantasy, modern human beings could return.
Stop it. Now, listen, watch this. Now, listen, watch this. He said, let us let us unite and make creatures. They did. And those that had no spark, meaning they didn't have the Yah intelligence, took huge she animals into them, other species, not a part of their family. They begot upon them dumb races they were, but their tongues untied. The tongues of their progeny remained still. Monsters they bred, a race of crooked, red-headed, covered monsters going on all fours. Play it. Going on all fours. Play that.
To an animal state.
In scientific terms, it was the equivalent of finding living, breathing fossils. Human beings who had never made the evolutionary leap of standing upright. The quest to find out why took a team of scientists on an amazing journey and raised profound questions about what it is to be human.
The thing which marks us off from the rest of the animal world is the fact that we're the species which walks on two legs and holds our heads high in the air.
Now, I'm going to say this here, Mighty Hebrew. I've tried this position plenty of times playing football, and I'm going to tell you, this is not easy. And especially a woman at this size, she's had a lot of practice at this. This is natural for her.
Kane, they were born like this. They were born like this.
Right. Had to be. Because you can just look at it and say, this is not something that they're doing just for 60 minutes. Like, they actually do this every day. You can tell. I'm play a little bit more. I'm just kind of, I'm trying to take this in because this is new for me. I'm gonna have to come back and watch this.
Right. Play a little bit more.
It's what defines us as human beings.
In many ways, yes, of course, there's language and all sorts of other things too, but it's terribly important to our sense of ourselves as being different from others in the animal kingdom. These people cross that boundary.
Professor Nick Humphrey is an evolutionary psychologist. He first heard of the family through a medical paper produced by Turkish scientists.
It looked as if we really did have something rather like a throwback in evolution, a turning back of the evolutionary clock. And the Turkish professor who invited us there, that's the way he thought about it. And in fact, others in the scientific community took up that line and said, yes, here for all the world is a genetic problem which has undone the last 3 million years of evolution, returned them to a primitive stage.
It sounded like the anthropological find of the millennium, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that scientists dream of. If the family proved to be true quadrupeds, walking on all fours, they may provide the elusive missing link between man and ape. Humphrey set out for Turkey with the scientific team to record.
Because you're not going to be able to play it all because you don't want to get flagged. So you only can take a piece. So now you can go back to the PowerPoint. Listen to this. All a dumb race to keep the shame untold. And the ancient commentary adds, when the third separated and fell into sin by breeding men animals, these or the animals became ferocious and men, and they mutually destructive. Till then, there was no sin, no life taken. Seeing which, who had not built men wept, saying, meaning these Elohim, the mindless had defiled our future abodes. This is karma. Let us dwell in the others by way of incarnation. Let us teach them better, least worsen should happen. They did. Then all men became endowed with manners, or with man. The root word for man is manu, which means to think. So now they have become as gods, knowing good and evil. Now, don't it all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Don't it all make sense? So there was a process through hybridization of species, mixing with other species, born out the so-called white race. Don't have nothing to do with they come directly from monkeys. No, but they do have RH, Rhesus DNA. This is why you can get books like this right here. You can get the Encyclopedia of Ancient Giants in North America. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't know what y'all dealing with, man. Y'all think let's continue on. So now, the origin of the pithecoid and anthropocoid apes, the anatomical resemblance between man and the higher ape, so frequently cited by Darwinists as pointing to some ancestor common to both, presents an interesting problem, the proper solution of which is to be sought for in the esoteric explanation of the genesis of the pithecoid stocks. Now, we gather from the secret doctrine that the descendants of these semi-human monsters described above as originating in the sin of the mindless, having through long centuries dwindled in size and became more densely physical, accumulating in a race of apes, including the white man, right? At the time of the Miocene period, from which in their turn are descended the pithecoid of today. With these apes of the Miocene period, however, the Black Atlanteans of that age renewed the sin of the mindless, this time with full responsibility and the resonance of their crime of the species of apes now known as the anthropocoid. We are given to understand now, and I can stop right there. Go to the next slide. I'm on. This demon is a hybrid. Go to the next slide. I've read that. Now, stop right there. Now, you see that diagram right there. The missing link is the astral body of man. Adam ha-Kakma, ha-Adam. That's why when you see the first, that's the Yah consciousness, trickling down from the Sephirotic tree of life, from ascent to descent. And evolution, they believe in from descent to ascent. As Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationals, we recognize it from ascent to descent. So on the right side, it's us. On the left side, it's the apes in the so-called white race. You see it. You see, we went from, the first root epic, the second root epic, et cetera, on the right-hand side. So the missing link is Yah consciousness, trickling down into the physical, being more coarse. But there was a gross misconduct in the emanation of things. Let me show you something. Let me grab something real quick. I got the book here, Unveiling Genesis, Mystery of the Root Races and Cycles by Philip Lindsay. I want to read something. I want to read something to the family as it pertains to the Euro Gentile. Like I said, y'all think y'all dealing with human beings. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. So in this writing right here, you keep going. That's my writing from out of my book, Our True History of Diaspora and Our Freedom. And in it, I break down the origin of the white race by showing through different archaic ancient records that they knew about the so-called white race. Keep going. There it is right there. That's my book right there that came out 2017, Our True History, the Diaspora and Our Freedom. Go to the next slide. Right there. Stop there. Read that right there to the people. This is the Neanderthal. I want you to hear.
All right.
People. What is that?
Bone mystery. Did ancient humans have sex with other species than Neanderthals?
Stop. So there are other species. At the Mighty Hebrew University, we teach what is known as a polygenesis, not a monogenesis. All humans on this planet don't go back to the same source.
Right.
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
These bones are not fake. These bones are hybrids that they are part of. Tumchi.
Okay. So the knowledge of our human origins has taken a huge leap forward after anthropologists decoded the DNA of a bone as old as 400,000 years old, revealing that our ancestors may have had sex with more species of early humans than previously thought.
Stop. Ain't that what we just read with the sin of the mindless? That they took she creatures?
Yes.
Is it not aligning with the archaic records, the scientific data?
Right.
And then we just watch that documentary from 60 Minutes of them walking on all fours?
Right.
Don't we have evidence of white babies coming out with coccyx tails? Don't they nature show they the beast man from the movie, the cartoon He-Man? You see Beast Man?
Right.
Right? This is them. They telling you about they self. Don't correct them about them telling their origin about themselves. We always said, that's why they love atheism. They love it because they know that they are a freak of nature. That's what they are. And y'all love them. And they show you every day how much they hate you. Go to the next slide. Let's get it. Let's read. Give me the source of that. Where that come from?
You locked in at the Smithsonian.com.
Say that one more time. I didn't hear that.
Smithsonian. We at the Smithsonian.com.
So that comes from Smithsonian.com.
Yes,
Isn't that not a credible source?
It's official.
It's official. So what does the top say, good brother?
Modern humans once mated with other species.
Ho. So there are other species besides the hominoid species we come from, right?
Right.
Okay. And what does that article say from Smithsonian.com?
Genetic studies reveal some modern humans carry DNA from extinct hominoid species, evidence of ancient interbreeding. Humanity has a filthy secret. Our ancestors used to have sex with members of other species.
Stop. Are we hearing this correctly? The
Smithsonian Institute says humanity has a filthy secret. Our ancestors used to have sex with members of other species.
Ooh. So now it's starting to be more clear where the Ramapithecus come from, the Australopithecus. the Homo erectus, the Neanderthalians, the Cro-Magnons, right?
Mm-hmm.
That there were people outside the garden.
Yeah.
Don't deal with them trees over there. Don't deal with them people over there, because trees are symbolic in the Tanakh for what? People and doctrine. Right?
Facts.
Go to the next slide. Mm-hmm. Now we are unveiling Genesis, Mystery of the Root, Races, and Cycles by Philip Lindsay. This is what I got in my hand right now. Go to the next slide, because I need the page. What page is that?
All right, this is Genesis. Let me see here. Looks like 3. We're gonna have to probably go with 360, 307, or 3. Look like 307.
Okay, I'm going to it now. I'm going to it now, because I need the people to hear this. And that's what I've been telling people for the longest time, that these people ain't human. Y'all like, oh, they human, they love us, they cherish us, woo, 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 etc., etc. Now, listen to this, y'all. I want y'all to hear this, because I'm not making it up. Watch this. It says, the most human of these apes died out, partly because the Black Atlanteans, realizing the sin of their own less evolved men, made vicious war upon them, wars of extermination, and also because the surroundings were not conducive to the continuance of this partly human, partly animal race. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Only the least progressed of the apes were allowed to live by the Black Atlanteans, and the apes today are the descendants of those who were allowed to continue to live. Listen, in the epic Hindu poem of Ramayana, the apes are depicted as far more human-like than they are today. They even talk and have their own governments and laws, like the movie Planet of the Apes, right? Led by Hanuman, the monkey god. They fight on the side of Rama against the Raskikas of Lanka in the great epic war of India. Viewed theosophically, the depiction of the apes in the Hindu legend is not entirely fictional. That's what it just said. Taking into account all the previous passages, it is entirely possible that the story is not mythical or symbolic, that the monkey army of Rama and Hanuman was deliberately bred by the magic and sorcery of the Atlantean giants for military purposes. Wait, what? This is antediluvian history. They are a part of experimentation of hybridization. That's what they are, man. Listen, the Ramayana took place around 1 million years ago during the overlap. The last sub-races of Atlantis and the early sub-races of the 5th race. Now, I want to read something that I found very interesting for them to even say out their mouth. Because these people, they know the truth and they're going to tell on themselves as they always do. The mystery of the apes, which is inclusive to the Euro Gentile. right, gives the reader much to reflect upon, to ponder upon what a different world it would be without the imposition of the doctrine of human evolution from apes, as taught in the majority of educational institutions around the world, as reinforced consistently in many fields of science and documentaries and media. Humanity is currently trapped in this paradigm of distorted ideas. So these people know that evolution is not true. It's not true. Huh? Listen. This is what I want y'all to hear. Hold on. Yup. Where is it at? Listen to this. The ape we know is not the product of natural evolution, but an accident. A crossbreed between an animal being or form and man. They got RH monkey DNA, Reese's gene in them. What are you talking about? Don't they? Don't they got monkey DNA in them, brother?
Wow.
Don't they?
That's heavy.
What did it say? What did it say? The ape we know is not the product of natural evolution, but an accident. A crossbreed between an animal being or form and man. It is the speechless animal that first started sexual connection, having been the first to separate into male and females. Nor was it intended by nature that man should follow the beast-style example, as shown by the comparative painless procreation of their species by the animals, and the terrible suffering and danger of the same in the woman. The ape is a transformation of species most directly connected with that of the human family, a hybrid branch engrafted on their own stock before the final perfection of the latter, or man. Now you heard that. You heard it.
Man, that's heavy.
They are goddamn hybrids. They're not descendants of Noah, the so-called white race. They are a mixture. They are a product of those beings from other dimensions incarnating into a species on the earth, mixing with other species, producing the Neanderthalian, which is based on RH monkey Reese's DNA. And what happened? Segments of Noah's children, segments of the Japhethites, segments of the Edomites, and segments of the Canaanites start mixing with these hybrids and form the white race. The white race is a product of different stages of and epochs of time which born them today. Facts. Go to the next slide. You got something to say, bro? I'm on fire. I'm showing it was a devolution, not an evolution. I read that. You can keep it going. You can keep it going. Yup, keep it going. Keep that going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Stop right there. I need you to read that from Prince Dr. Shaliach bin Yahuda, the original dean of the School of the Prophets Institute in Dimona, Israel, Northeastern Africa. Tumshi Adoni.
Prince Dr. Shaliach bin Yahuda says, history must backtrack in giant steps to come to a spiritual reconciliation, acknowledgement of truth, which is salvation.
That's what we got. Isn't this what we doing right now?
Most definitely.
We have to develop our own institutions of higher learning to challenge Western academia. Let's take a break. Let's go to a song, brother. And then I go to my next part. Then we close out and then come back with part 3.
Okay.
Journey to the dark side of the moon. The mighty Hebrew. Pentar. Century. Box with jaw, use your own reach, eaten by beast, king up the street heartbeat, sees this journey darkness, the moon falls, mind trapped like Saul, vanguard of Elohim, the sin that's Ramallah beans, die like the enemy, cryptic knowledge, get lost in translation, sensation, awake the pioneer that was hated by your Gentile apes, please pie me. Execute the youth fate, Hunsu Quan, star on track like the Wrath of Khan. Insane as the membrane, on hill, smoking cypress, vision from the iris of M-I-N-D. See titans falling as prophecy bomb. Compton, Philly up the Harlem. Israel, I heard the calling of our forefathers in Tanakh. From Stenzon, I'm Sidon, speaking Zinzon. Sins of our Hebrew ancestors saw since the fall from the all. 2/3 robotic like Nemesis. 2/3 your lives is moving swift. 2/3 dying for wickedness. 2/3 rise and repent quick. 2/3 robotic like Nemesis. 2/3 your lives is moving swift. 2/3 dying for wickedness. 2/3 rise and repent quick. Pioneer fight, priest by me. Kwam Ya uphold the way. Allah Hayam vacate child's play. My mind spray satanic hatred. We live now for the ancients. Resurrect, trick of assassination. My appel be sacred. Spiked up, wearing the turban in the urban. Teaching on street corners with warriors. Reading Torah. Till the laws filling bites and serpents. My people hurting from the curses. Deuteronomy 28, 68 codes. It's verses and scrolls. Blackness eat them, lurking for control. Israelites dark, Solomon's curtains. We buy words, be the chosen. Devil speak when you spoken. Prince Balthazar Yum, Yasha Allah, crushing you nations, idle powers into powder. Bodies under dead flowers, the way of a samurai. Never live as cowards, we uphold honor for Yah Abanawa, a sovereign power, our sire over Aratazar. Lion King of Zion, conquer the liar, spit to knock fire, to burn Esau into stumble. Truth they fumble, World War III, Royal Rumble. Soundless, the crafty mumble, to us they bow their heads humble. Gadites got the beast running. Back to dungeons of London to watch jackals feast on their carcass, living dormant and cliffs up the rocks, mountain climb. They fell from yard-ass savages, dirty, nasty, river rat bastards. They misplay Queen's dragon, fucking faggots. I expose faggots, Pope Benedict sucking dick. This is the real shit that Jesuits hear. If you don't want to hear it, close your ears. Mojito is near, beware. Soon your faces will melt from your tendons by a nuclear nemesis. Born in new spirits, I do me us. Rulership is finished. Yai quabs just beginning. The surface breaking through iron meeting. Fifth deadly venom, toe shadow, you sinners. War is our vengeance to stop the sickness and rise to healing. If y'all's eat bread, children. 2/3 robotic like Nemesis. 2/3 robotic like Nemesis. 2/3 your lives is moving swift. 2/3 dying for wickedness. 2/3 rise and repent quick. 2/3 robotic like Nemesis. 2/3 your lives is moving swift. 2/3 dying for wickedness. 2/3 rise and repent quick. Shalom Bahashim Yahweh HaKodesh Yisrael Wa Shema Yisrael Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Had. Journey to the dark side of the moon 2022. The mighty Hebrew, live and direct. Tanzania, East Africa, all the way from Philly. Hunting Park in the building. We be the Elohim. We got 311 trillion, 40 billion year history. From the dimension of Mebedu, incarnated 5.5 million BCE. By the way of the Ramahos, post-Diluvian, as the children of Israel, also known as the Hebrew Israelite sovereign nation. Selah.
Yo, so you dealing with hybrids. This is what you dealing with. Go back to the PowerPoint. This is what you dealing with. You dealing with hybrids. And we just read one more time. Just got to be held one more time, right? I need y'all to hear that statement one more time. because I wanted to like melt in y'all heads what these people saying about this hybridization, right, of the Euro Gentile. And I want y'all to hear it again. I mean, let's go right here. I'm on page 309, Unveiling Genesis, Mystery of the Root Races and Cycles by Philip Lindsay. Listen, the ape we know is not the product of natural evolution, but an accident, a crossbreed between an animal being or form and man. And then now we read about Hanuman, right? And Hanuman was what? Half monkey, half man, right? In the Ramayana, right?
Right.
And we read and we seen the Ramapithecus bones from the Indian subcontinent, 14.8 million BCE, right? We seen that, right?
Right. Okay.
We seen from the Smithsonian.com, Smithsonian Institute, what did they say? They said that humans were mixing with species that weren't a part of their human family, right?
A filthy
Am I
history.
not lying this? Am I not melting this microphone right now, right? Did it not say?
Okay.
It is the speechless animal that the first started sexual connection, having been the first to separate into male and female, right? Okay. Nor was it intended by nature that man should follow the beast-style example. It says, as shown by the comparative painless procreation of their species by the animals and the terrible suffering and danger of the same in the woman. The ape is a transformation of species most directly connected with that of the human family. That's why the Euro Gentile got R-Ace rhesus monkey DNA and all. Right? Huh? It says directly connected with that of the human family. I hybrid, bred and grafted in their own stock before the final perfection of the latter, or man. They said it. They said it. Out their mouth, they said it. Now, right. I didn't say it.
They said it.
They said it.
Facts.
Don't say, Almighty Hebrew, you making that up and such and such. How you going to tell the so-called white man about who they are?
Right.
They know who they are.
Right. We teaching you what they teaching us.
Right. They know that they a hybrid species.
Facts.
They like to drink blood, eat blood. Did I not show you in the ISIS papers? And Urugu, huh? Destruction of civilization of barbarianism.
Right.
Iceman inherited. They know who they are.
Right.
And you trying to protect them and protect Western academia. I showed you that Western academia is based on institutionalized behavior. Did I not?
Facts.
We back in the resurrection from judgment. You in post-judgment. The Black conscious community is in post-judgment right now. You're in post-judgment. Judgment day is now. And the fact, and you sitting up here, oh no, they would never do that. They would never, just like, Emmett Till supposedly whistled at a white woman, and you see what they did to him. And our people so institutionalized when they was trying to arrest that old ass woman for getting our brother murdered. She gonna say, oh no, leave her alone. That was so long time ago, but you even played in the movie Emmett Till, the new movie. And when Malik Zulu Zabas and all them wanted to pose charges on that goddamn devil,
right? You
say leave her alone.
Right.
How sick can you be? You want to know why? Because they institutionalized by the way of institutions of higher learning. That's what we supposed to be attacking.
Mm-hmm.
You want to attack the Bible and everything else, and you want to defend. You got to remember when they go into them Greek fraternal orders and all them in them universities and colleges, they grooming these people, man, to protect the wicked.
Right.
Damn you, Boule. Damn you. And that's why they had to murder Steve Coakley, because he exposed the Boule Society, you wicked black devils. And now you use it, social media, the black conscious community, pushing that narrative to our people as if we evolve it. We never acknowledge evolution. We acknowledge emanation. No evolution. We let that white man tell his own history. You sitting up here, that's us. Let's go. Let's watch this. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Listen, y'all. I'm in the ecosystem, page 40 and 41, and God by the late Ben Ami. Have we forgotten that children are born completely dependent, subject to conditioning by parents and institutions? The essential characteristics that make them suitable for their specific purpose in life are acquired during this early development. The entire learning process is a formula which ensures that the proper spirit conjured up by harmonious words and deeds, the vision of the student, what he is trying to achieve will determine who he petitions for help. A child's sense of right and wrong will be determined in accordance with the preferences of society, whether of Yah or Shaitan. Children will be instilled with a fear of offending the conventional rules of behavior. You fear conventional behavior of Western academia. You fear to question these people if they right or wrong.
Right.
You fear them so much, you contradict the people over here in Africa. They say they Israelites over here. You say they converts.
Right.
Why? Because you following after that devil, the hybrid. The right side of the hemisphere of the brain is what we use. They use the left side of the hemisphere of the brain. They are egotistical maniacs, and this is why everywhere they go, they have to conquer and destroy to learn. They have to dissect a little frog to know everything about. Our chief science was what? Observation.
Yeah.
Observation. That was our chief science. Observation. We observed. We looked and we seen, and we were able to figure out the sciences of existence by observing. Not that devil. That devil got to dissect a little frog to know that Frankensteinian wicked beast. You see it in the movie Frankenstein. He's alive. Talking about them. The Bride of Frankenstein,
right,
Dracula.
Right, Dracula.
The seduction of women. This all your Gentile behavior. This all caveman, ape man, beast man behavior. They so in tune with the dark forces. That's why you can watch Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a damn devil running around killing people, murdering people, and taking their skin and putting it on his face. That was based on a true story.
Yeah.
The first part. That's based on, that's a historical, factual story. These crackers been practicing cannibalism. There ain't nothing new with these people.
You gotta be a special kind of individual, man, just to even, have that type of imagination to even go and create that, to put that on screen, to sell it to a people that's gonna buy it.
Right.
So who are the people? They've done enough study to know that if we create this, We got a community of people out here that's gonna buy this crap.
Right. You don't never see no black people making no crazy movies like that.
No.
You got Pele, but even when you look at his horror is based on the true trauma that black people experience in the wilderness of North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands. Come on, man. Listen to this. This about the listen to this, man. I'm not even cutting them no more. I didn't chop their limbs off. Let's chop their limbs off real quick with this natural selection, because we still here dealing with this beast man, right? Watch this. Even their taste will reflect and exhibit the essential alliance to living or dying, health and disease. However, if they mature under the watchful odds of Eurocentric institutions, their natural selection will determine and maintain their inferiority as well as the superior of the slave master. You got to understand why they got to destroy or try to destroy the Hebrew Israelite nation and make Damona void, because Ben Ami had the key, Prince Asiel had the key, Prince Dr. Shalia had the key, man. They was way before their time. They seen this stuff coming. Listen, natural selection, a natural process that tends to cause the survival of individuals or groups best adjusted to the conditions under which they live, and that is equally important for the participation of desirable genetic qualities and for the elimination of undesirable ones. You got to hear this, devil. The Torah tell us, protect the elderly, protect the weak, not destroy them. You got to hear natural select. That's wicked. It's wicked. And they sit up here and say, oh, we evolve. But the last one to evolve out of the evolutionary chain, so they say, is who? You're a Gentile. So in that retrospect, they saying that they the better species. And you using that to say that we a part of that. Look, Ben Ami says there is a behavior associated with the progress of being absorbed into the mix and spirit of York. Children must be taught in school the formula or fixed process through which they will attain life and the understanding of how to contribute to their well-being. This process demands their disciplined attention and persistent application, defined as being sought after with all their heart, soul, and might. They must be taught that birth only offers the opportunity to live, while life experiences depend on the process that determines the development of their character and the actions inspired therefrom. The entire process of dedication, now called education, is our breathing the breath of life into the students. Remember, as we reflect the Bereshit or Genesis emanated process, the Ha'adam was merely a physical structure into the substance of life. The breath of life was breathed into him. It was not an automatic feature by birth. At birth, Ha'adam had yet to become a living soul. Life actually belonged to someone else, Yah, who imparted it to Adam as part of an everlasting covenant. So remember, he was walking and talking, but he didn't have Yah's sense. He was a part of the living dead. Instinctive will. You got people walking around you right now, brother, walking and talking and laughing, but they dead. Because they don't have the Yah sense, the Yah intelligence to help them to get from out of the captivity that they're in. So they sit back and parrot chirp. Oh, this scholar said such and such. Did that scholar tell you how to get out of captivity? Did the institutions of higher learning tell you how to create a governmental structure, a body politic, a constitution, so you can get your people out of this captivity? Did it show you how to create a military? Did it show you how to irrigate land? Did it tell you how to repatriate and build your own government and to tear down a wicked government? No.
No.
It only taught you how to regurgitate and keep the cycle of Western liberal democracy fluctuating and Black America being used as a beacon of false light and hope to the other nations. Just like Egypt was used as a beacon of false light to manifest white supremacy and domination on the rest of the African tribes and nations. That's what the Euro Gentile did to you. Liberal democracy has a criminal justice system with a multiplicity of penal institutions in place where humans are murdered by electricity and lethal injection. Men and women are incarcerated in a manner that changes their natural affections into that which is unseemly and forbidden. Like you've been incarcerated in the mind.
Right.
Your mind is incarcerated to believe that you evolved from an ape.
Wow.
A primate species.
You
don't hold no RH rhesus DNA in you. You got two, those that hold the ghost gene DNA, and you got those that hold the RH rhesus monkey DNA gene. The gene that we hold is known as the God code. These people know. These people know.
The VMAT gene.
Right. We the Elohim, man.
Fact.
We come incarnate 5.5 million BCE by the way of the Ramor holes.
Facts.
And the Diluvian times trickle down into the sons of Noah.
Facts.
Through shit.
And if you go back and take a look at the VMAT gene, that's the VMAT gene, and type in COVID and see the effects COVID has on the VMAT gene. See the effects that those vaccines has on the VMAT gene. You'll understand what he just said a lot more further. I guarantee it's gonna blow your mind.
So I want to read one more little piece. Oh, here it is. I got it. And then we're going to play a song and end it out and come with part 3. I'm in the book, Black Hebrew Israelites from America to the Promised Land by the late Prince Dr. Shaliach Ben Yahuda. Now, this is about Marcus Garvey, but I want to show how you have to develop institutions to destroy another institution. Listen. The Back to Africa movement of Marcus Garvey and all plans that follow in regard to the transplanting of the children of Israel or the children of the prophets to a land other than the Promised Land had to fail because they were in conflict with prophecy. We have, however, been greatly inspired by the labors of Marcus Garvey, who gave his life when he heard the cries and saw the affliction of a helpless, downtrodden lot. But this one thing we know, listen, this one thing we know, as well as Garvey knew, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. Job 19:25 and verse 27. Marcus Garvey's work aroused the spirit of many personalities that made many lasting impressions in governmental seats and among the souls of millions that had hope and envisioned a brighter day for their long-sought freedom. One of these personalities was the late Mrs. M.M.L. Gordon, president of the peace movement of Ethiopia, who, along with 2 million followers, petitioned the United States government and sought assistance from the federal government of the United States to establish them in Liberia or some area adjacent to Liberia. So what I'm saying is, for you to destroy an institution or governmental autonomy, you have to have one. You have to have one. You can't just be on some religious rhetoric or some academia rhetoric and think they're going to free you.
Right.
They're not going to free you. You have to free yourself from this devil. I done proved it scientifically, spiritually, archaically, that the Euro-Gentile is in fact a hybrid. Let's close out with another song, come back, say shalom. You got any words, man? Because tonight was fire. It was better than the first one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna play. I don't have any words, my brother, man. I just because I want people to think on and contemplate on what you said. You know what I'm saying? You play this Lost Tribes, man, because this is one of my favorites off of this joint. So I'm gonna play Lost Tribes.
That's good. That's good. Hallelujah.
Lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Come on. Devil's lies on the rocks without shame. What? Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. And trust the devil and uplift your hard wall. Lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Fuck em. Devil's lies on the rocks without shame. Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. And trust the devil and uplift your hard wall. A mighty power frees minds. The Gentile scholars lies to shower to the wise that was blinded. A strange land prophesied. Lost tribes became Philosophy. Apocalypse of Abraham, 32:16, 400 years coming in ships and chains being whipped. Ezekiel 19:4-9, placed in the pit, dying in feces and piss. Sitting next to skeletons, 350 million Paris in the middle passage. Some sisters gave birth to your bastards, creating melodic trios from the poison of demonic semen. Being raped by perverted beasts and heat. With a thought of jungle fever, a liar wall set them devils evil. I see the shadow called deceiver in the image of a non-people. Speaking the tongue off balance with the rhythm off beat. From the heart that the wolves eat. February the 14th, the feast and ceremonies and tights filling the rush of Israelite blood and Ghana who they first crushed. With the help of Hamites, praising Muhammad as their prophet, ruptured the dynasty of Zah, placing the mind in the genie bottle only for a time. 1969, first Israelites shine in the Mona, kingdom of Yah, resurrect the lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Come on, devil's lies on the rocks without shame. What? Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. Trust the devil and uplift your hard wall. Lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Devil's lies on the rocks without shame. Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. And trust the devil and uplift your hard wall. My mental plane, range celestial terrain, power range, glass stainless, ascended master in the rain. Return, rearrange your animated matrix. No escaping, ship shaping, incarnated awakening. Numerian Texas label secret to those stargazing for the fate of Jacob. Climb ladder, shattering to the 12th planet. Clouds magnetic, Yah's eye vision, lightning striking. Eden Viking with force of Dami. Lotus my llama, controlling karma. My thorns Mars, master with law as a rule savior. My behavior permeates dark matter in 4 chambers. Earthbound and physical. Myself, I'm a stranger, really an angel. Trap prolonged from anger. Stargating, use 6-point triangles to astral, but check my temple to elements of wise intelligence. To a land of never end. Losing 5 senses to senselessness. Vision envisions appearance of Sirius. Aligning every pyramid, the minds of builders of sugar rocks and psychogoths. Allahayim development has been arrested since New Atlantis. Yah bless my vocab. It's beyond lettermen. The king is solo, controlling the global from electromagnetic oval of immortals with techniques. One with Levitical priests, sacrifice truth instead of beast meat. secret science, initiate gods and right knowledge. The son of Enoch, hallelujah. Blessed be the rock, Yahweh Ahaya. With my Ayasha, we rise higher. Itana, Matuzayam, Bain Yasha Allah. Torah we follow to Makuba, take Zion. To the land of promise of our forefathers. Abba, Yahai, shining like spectrums. Universal cosmic sound wave objects. Move from stillness. Endless beam, break the dream. Chanting Hashema Creed on Astroline. Born in Kabbalah trees, the garden of Eden. We Elohim, watch Adam and Eve manifest new better she. Lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Come on, devil's lies on the rocks without shame. What? Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. And trust the devil and uplift your hard wall. Lost tribes of Israel feel pain. Fuck em. Devil's lies on the rocks without shame. Who's to blame? But us, we trust one. And trust the devil and uplift your hard wall.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I see Dr. Bain Zayde. If you want to come on and have some closing words, I'll put the link in your inbox, Dr. Bain Zayde. So come on in real quick. We wait for you. Matter of fact, play another song until Dr. Bain Zayde come on, because he's in the audience and he just let me know he was on. Let him come on and have a few words. Can you hear me? You on mute.
Yeah, I got you. I'm about to pull up something now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, until he come on. Because I know he got some words on this topic.
All right, cool. I got you. Here we go.
All right.
Show is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, minds open, supernova, 1/3 global. The new age show is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, mind open, supernova, 1/3 global. Shining with Jack the Russians, your mind's puzzled in instruction, deconstruction, or will becoming committee 300. Georgia, well, book is spoken, focus on Persia. The scroller Daniel opens, giving vision, beast image, selling in slave ships with Israelites, yoked in iron, dying daughters of Zion, crying in pits. Words 28:36, the cryptic hit and refill. Yah's wisdom, the dead live. What a feeling, Yasha Allah's now risen from invading nations, ruling in hatred, parading our labor as slaves from the soup. Possessed with Masonic voodoo, overseen by Juju. Get it, the Jewish man, fuck the Fuju. We the Hebrews from the tribe of Judah. Rest ben Ami, Rabbi Nu, Adonai Nu. Yishalam the Dr. Shaliach for me. When you read me, decree 720, cipher complete. Exodus 720, incarnate stabs, giving omens, ruling like Joseph. Hyksos over the Hyksos with a death potion. Scorpion Harvard like Horus. Frankenstein, 12 tribes like Boris. We Octagon, fight Chuck Norris. Captivity we sell over tosses. Dry bones resurrect from our lost coffins. Lazarus we walking, adapt horse and fame, calling Yahweh's name. Reclaim sovereign reign over middle terrain. Stains of black rain, lay on the brain to 2/3 get wasted by Edom's cavemen. Tartarian state where freedom fighters get placed for Norman Bait, cellmate, drowning in Crystal Lake like Jason. Don't change the station, the truth face it. The earth is shaking as I'm quaking, cracking pavements. No one's safe from fate. Bones break, shake and get baked by club of Rome's Olympian racists and rapists against ancient sages walking the word. Abraham, Isaac, and Jay, blood in my veins. Ellie and DNA in my pioneer from 7 root races apart. The savior of the sacred seed of David, being raised in the last days for Jacob behind the western gate of Masonic reigns and Satan. The Gentiles world is fading as we wake from danger to become angels. Rearrange your face, scar face, and Moshe feel the rhythm from bass. The new age show is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, minds open, supernova, 1/3 global. The new age show is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, mind open, supernova, 1/3 global.
They make me 38 hoes when they checking for my beats. Man, I wanna find your trash, killer flow on your speeds. When I die 8 ball, Kisha wanna skip. Niggas still on the case, let's go back to rap. I'm RTD, show your face, put your mask off. This is not to hair cutting, shit is that staple. Say they need me, in the hope when they lose up. God gave me green lights and I never say stop. I'm getting close to the top, Tokachini Swezi drop. Pull up when the volley motherfuckers try to cut the rope. Hardcore, I force a job, they can't even try to cop. This is not for everybody, I never scared to be so hot. But between my dream, we do more than taking action on my team. Shooting Lisha 86, life now, don't want him. Still I see these niggas pay a lot of money, quit a foot limb. Stay on the case, they keep on a chase. Game of the time, never be lazy. Najenga my base, kisha na raise. Nikifika ni gold, such a good praise.
The new age, yo, is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, minds open, supernova, 1/3 global. The new age, yo, is coming for the chosen. Y'all's people stay focused, taking over, breaking curses, Torah verses, mind open, supernova, 1/3 global.
Shalom Yisrael, peace and blessings to everybody that's in the chat. Thank y'all for being here. We're gonna give Dr. Ben Zede a few moments to get on so he can have a few words to say to us. But real quick though, brother, like this was powerful, man. And the best part about this is that these are not your words, but the interpretation of the information and how they're teaching where their origins are. You're just relating the information and making it, and understandable, for the audience tonight. So that's what people need to understand. This is very important because the social sources that you use are their sources as well.
Okay, that's there you go. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Dr. Ben Zede, how are you? Appreciate you for coming in. And is there something that you wanted to add to the to the lesson tonight?
Oh man, first and foremost, giving all praises and honor to Yahweh Kone, the possessor of the universe. Giving all honor and praises to our ancestors, the predecessors, who paved the way for us to have this, to build on the legacy that they left. The likes of Marcus Garvey, Ben Ami, Prince Asiel, Nasik Shaliach, and so much more. And tonight we also acknowledge the greatness of yourself, Mikhail, and also the greatness of Prince Charlandine, Nasik, Yasha Senior, for bringing forth this message that is of utmost importance for us to understand who this man, beast, hybrid is. Because if you don't understand who he is, then you don't know how to wage war. You don't know how to liberate yourself. Because he's clearly bent on subjugation and destruction. One of the things I would like, what can I say? Nasik said everything. But what I would like to add is that something of great significance occurred tonight that we must pay attention to. And I shared the video with Nasik. There's a brother, Kamjiverse from Cameroon. He's a PhD student. And he went on I think it's Smash YouTube channel or whatever. And he was debating Ngozi and Ankaket and these, I don't even gonna call them brothers. these Euro-literate brothers who, you know, they push forth the evolution theory and say we evolved from monkey and all of these things. And these are the very things that Nasik is dismantling. And Brother Ngozi came on and was challenging Brother Kamjiverse. And Brother Ngozi said something to Kamjiverse on the wise of, you know, why is it that the Igbo people say that the Fulani people came from the so-called Levant and they are mixed with thus and thus and they are not African? And Brother Kamjiverse responded by saying, well, the Fulani people have a particular lactose marker that is Euro-Asian. In other words, he's saying the Fulanis are mixed with these Euro-Asian people. These same people Nasik is explaining that have these R1, the rhesus monkey markers, right? So clearly, when Brother Kamjiverse said that, he went, Ngozi got on the defensive. He got very upset. And that is because Ngozi is mixed with Fulani. He is half Fulani. He have Amazigh Berber DNA. And these Amazigh Berber and the Fulani people are mixed with these Euro-Asian rhesus monkey hybrids. So he became very defensive. And then he brought up, well, the Twa people, the Pygmy people say Bantu did thus and thus to them. All right. And would you believe it that Ngozi then began to attack Africans, even though he claimed he's African? I sent Nasik the clip. He literally said, you Africans are the worst and the wickedest. You went up into Euro-Asia and raped and inbred with the European woman or these monkey hybrids. I'm like, and then the host for the program said, whoa, he said, you see, that's why you should give people the space and time to talk so they can crucify themselves, so they can expose their intention. Why am I saying this? You must never play down the significance of having the European genetics in your bloodline. This is not just an inbred or a sharing of genetics. It's a sharing of spirit, consciousness. So what you see Ngozi is expressing is an inner expression of that recessive marker in him coming from these Europeans. So he has an internal conflict within himself. On one hand, he hates African. On one hand, he's trying to defend his admixture. So when you go and read in Job 32 verse 8, it says there is a ruach in man that giveth nishamat, character. When you look at the word ruach, the resh represent order and arrangement of information. The wav represent the histone created by the ket, the chromosome, that organize the information on the double helix. That, when it expresses itself, it creates nishama, character. So the character of Ngozi showed tonight in his hatred of Bantu people, in his hatred of African. It shows the conflict within his own biology. And as Nasik said clearly, Ankaket and his support staff, they all resort to European academia to substantiate their false claim of that we evolved from monkey, and the false claim that the ancient Kemetic civilization wasn't built by Bantu Africans, you know, or that we're not the people of who, you know, is called the children of Israel. They all rely on European deceptive academia to substantiate all their claims. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So as the conversation proceeds, Brother Comgiverse now, they brought up a document to support the idea that Afro-Asiatic language is a language family. And they brought up research by European, and Brother Comgiverse's argument is that when you look at the categories of language you put in there, there's a lot of words, when you look at them, they don't have this, they don't belong to the same language family. Like he showed the Amazigh word, the Sumerian word, the Hebrew word, and he showed that these words don't have the same root system. They don't come from the same language family. And he showed the obvious difference, right? And so Brother Comgiverse is saying the methodology that was used is flawed and it doesn't stand up to contemporary mechanism to determine a language family. So he quoted the specific words, and would you believe they started laughing at him? But none of them, probably Ngozi's probably speak an African language, none of them are fluent in any African language, yet they're going to resort to European academia who are not fluent in any African language to substantiate their claim and try to discredit Comgiverse, who was born on the continent and is fluent in a number of languages. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So all of this just prove what Nasik just explained tonight. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add that component.
Mm. Yeah, powerful. That's amazing. You know, sometimes, you know, I see the notifications pop up. I'm subscribed to a few channels to see, you know, what's going on. But, you know, I just I fall back, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to get caught up into a lot of that extra stuff and just try to stay focused on what's most important. You know what I'm saying? And, but again, we're dealing with a type of people, man. I've done some extensive research when it comes to my family history. You know what I'm saying? And time again, I see repeated rapes. I see human trafficking as we see it today, back then, across throughout history. You know what I'm saying? I see war. I see all types of everything you can think of centered around these people that we call the Euro-Gentile. They've been destructive since day one. They've been about war since day one. Right now, they're warring amongst themselves now. They don't have nobody else to war with. They don't have nobody else to conquer now. So now it's like a cancer that has now begun to eat itself. This body is destroying itself now. We're watching it play out in front of us. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't get our act together, because our issue on this end is that we're destroying ourselves too. And we're watching it play out on YouTube, because again, this whole scenario that popped off with with Kanye West and Kyrie Irving was a great opportunity for us to unite and come together and to rise above all of this. But what happens, we got a group of individuals who's jealous because they're not in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? They want to, tear us down. We're never going to get ahead if we don't never take the time to do a self-evaluation. You know what I'm saying? We got to really look at ourselves on the individual level. You know what I mean? And say, what am I contributing to the entire body of people as a whole, rather than I'm trying to make myself look good and promote my ideology, rather than putting our differences down and saying, how can I build with the collective? In a few years from now, we're going to be dealing with digital currency. We're going to be dealing with AI. We're dealing with more pandemics. More people are going to get lost along the way. While they're building all these different devices, we're still being divided amongst one another, tearing each other down, rather than building and coming together collectively. They got spaceships that they go out into the atmosphere and send satellites out, but where is ours? Where is our universities that challenge these universities? The Mighty Hebrew has created his, but where are those there in the conscious community? You see what I'm saying? Where are our farms? Where are our stores? Where are these type of businesses that allows us to be able to build our own economic system? It's been torn down and dissipated through time to where we can't leave out our house and go to every place, whether if it's from work to buying groceries to the gas station. That's all. I'm just gonna say Afro-Asiatic, black owned. I'm gonna put it like that. We can't walk out our door without being dependent on their system. We're in a bad place. We like to read about it in history, and we go back and look at Black Wall Street and some of these other places that were thriving early in the 1900s. But here it is in 2023, and where are those cities? They're all gone. They put us in our own little compartmentalized little communities. They've made us dependent upon them, and we're continuously tearing ourselves down to the point where we're looking at, YSL, Young Thug, and some of these guys. They're on TV telling on one another. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Right. When are we going to rise above, come together, and do something for our own communities? This mindset that we have is sickening. It's a disease. You know what I'm saying? It's so but go ahead though, because those things,
you see, that is why they raped our forebears. Mm-hmm. Because in raping, they're sowing the seed of discord. They mm-hmm. put their genetics in us. And in time, certain genes become activated that cause you to become an enemy of yourself, of your people, of your own liberation. So there's a saying that says, not all skin folks are kin folks.
Facts.
And we have a lot of those spiritually and genetically. Mm-hmm. Working against our liberation efforts,
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm saying that's one of the contributing factor to what you just described. Mm-hmm. And another thing in supporting what Nasik brought, Minister Enki, Dr. Enki, he said that there are two species or two organisms, yeast and the rhesus monkey. And they're the only organism that recycle sulfur thiol, alcohol, sulfuric acid in the form of cysteine, and ammonia, which is a combination of sulfur and ammonia, glutathione, by way of the alanine cycle. And the only other organism outside of the rhesus monkey and the yeast that does that is Europeans, is Caucasians. So he's saying that to say, clearly you can see their admixture. Then Dr. Pukrum said, Europeans have a superficial circulatory system, but a deep circulatory system. But Black people, we have both. She also said that they cannot refract the full light spectrum like we are able to do. But and she's a neurosurgeon. She mastered Western academia. So I would say she's credible in her information. But tonight, a couple of days ago, the same Ngozi came out and said, Europeans are still Africans. They are still Homo sapiens sapien. And one of the brothers said, no way. We're not the same. Why would he be putting forth that argument? Because he have their genetics. He knows what in their bloodline. He knows their admixture. And he's not pleased with himself for what he have. So that's when he then lash out and say, you Africans are the worst. You went into Europe and inbred with these European hybrids. You raped their woman. Can you imagine that coming from a man who professed to be an African? But at the same time, then we have to look at the people that he came from. Because when we look at the Fulani, and I'm not saying all Fulani, they convert to Islam, and what did they do in Africa? Remember, when they convert to Islam, they're taking Islam from who? Black Arabs who mix with Euro-Asians. So they're carrying the monkey genetics. So when you couple that, the Fulani then took Islam from them, they convert, and then the Fulani then went through Africa and waged what? Jihad. To force convert other Africans to Islam by the sword. And when you listen and Ngozi dialogue with Brother Kamji Verse, it was very hostile. He wouldn't even let the brothers speak. He wanted to rule and dominate. All that reptilian behavior, all that racist behavior. Prime example. Go ahead, Brother Mikhail.
No. You go ahead. I'm just listening to you, brother.
So, as Minister Enki said, when you look, they have these similar trait to the rhesus monkey and yeast. And when you look in Psalms 91, it says that he that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the protection of the Almighty. When you look at the word protection or shadows of protection, it's the word zel. Then when you go to Psalms, I believe it's 23, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You find the word zel again, but this time it's conjugated with mute. So you get the word vowelized, zel mavet or sal mavet, which means the mute means that which negates your zel, your protection. So what that implies is that you have two forms of what is called mycelium. The zel in Psalms 91 is the mycelium that protects you. The salmavet is the mycelium that destroys you. What are those things? Bacteria and fungi. Also yeast. Your mitochondria that you inherit from your mama is a form of zel. It is a form of mycelium. Mycelium is everywhere in this universe. It's in everything. Your mitochondria is the doctor within your body. It is the key to good health, right? So when you look, there is a form of mycelium, bacteria, fungus, yeast, that will destroy you and negate your zel, your protective form of mycelium. So watch this. When they did studies, because remember Ngozi said, we are the same, we are all humans. Bull. When they did studies on children in Uganda, certain African people, or you melanin people, they found out what? That we naturally carry low levels of what? Yeast or white blood cells. European, on the other hand, carry high levels of white blood cells, yeast, fungi. We're not the same. We're not the same. So the thing is, that is why when you interbred with them, you inherit those genes, and you inherit the white blood cells. And that's why so many Black people, you have a high percentage of autoimmune conditions among Black people who interbred with European, because you have these competing genes that in turn attack our pigment centers. Eczema, psoriasis, prostate issue, leukemia. My nephew was mixed and he died from an autoimmune condition. All this is coming from the admixture, because their body have the rhesus, the rhesus monkey marker and the yeast component. We're not the same. It's very insulting for him to say that. And even in Western medicine, well, I mean, this is now being highlighted. High level of white blood cell is not a good thing.
No,
it's not. And they naturally have that. So now, when you look at it, in recent times with the pandemic, if you know what I'm talking about, they said that they're giving us, you know what they call that panacea or that remedy. And the purpose of that remedy is to do what? Upregulate your white blood cells. Well, we're not a white blood cell dominant people. So why are you giving that to us? When in fact, your blood platelets is your immune system first responder, not your white blood cells. Blood platelets does everything that they claim white blood cells do. The blood platelets store over 80 to 90% of the serotonin produced in the gut, and it uses it as a scanning mechanism to detect damages to the cell, the tissues, as well as to detect pathogens, yeast, fungus, etc., white blood cell, viruses. And then it have the ability to identify, neutralize, oxidize, and isolate these things in your body. Another component of our immune system, the lymph, as well as the melanin stimulating hormones. They have the ability to destroy these Zell-Mavet, these destructive form of mycelium. But we don't know ourselves. All we know is what Western academia tell us. All we know is the biochemistry of the rhesus man. And we then apply that to ourselves. We're not the same biochemically. You can't apply their biochemistry to us. We don't function the same. And that's why Dr. Ali Muhammad said the Caucasian immune system function like yeast, because they have been colonized by yeast also. So we can't, what is good for the goose is not good for the gander.
No, not
we
at
can't,
all.
you understand what I'm saying? And that is what Nasik is explaining. They look human, but they don't think like us. Dr. Lila Africa said it best. He said they suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder with distortion. He said they went into Kemet. He said when they process, they see something and they form an opinion before they even examine what the thing is. That's why Nasik speak of observation. They form a conclusion, distort who you are before getting to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Lila Africa called obsessive compulsive disorder with distortion. He called it a psychosis.
That's heavy.
A psychosis. And so when you look, another angle to look at this, when you look at Jeremiah 1, it says, what thou seest, Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, and he said, I see, I think it's a branch of almond. And this is in reference to the families of the north. We know north of Israel is Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And the word there for that branch of almond is shaked, or shoked, which implies hastiness. It implies cognition, there's a word for it. It implies something more relating to flight or fight respond.
Okay.
You know, something dealing with being highly circumspect.
Okay.
But it's actually referring to the amygdala. The amygdala, when you look up the reptilian, when you look up the limbic brain, the limbic brain shaped like a serpent. And the mouthpiece of the serpent, the reptilian complex, is the amygdala. And the amygdala governs what? Survival imperative, power, pleasure, lust, epigenetics, all of that. Reward, pleasure. So what is Jeremiah implying there? Metaphorically, scriptedly, that the families that are coming from the north, this is Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 11 through 14. They are ruled, they're dominated by what? Their reptilian, complex, survival, power, reward, war, by all means to ascertain dominance. This is what Nasik just explained.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by way of their admixture. Whatever genetic engineering that went in, that occur to bring them in existence. They are ruled by that aspect of their limbic system, the reptilian complex. Remember now, the limbic system shaped like a snake. The Hebrew word for snake is nakash. Nakash also means incantations.
Mm-hmm.
You have good and bad incantation. The tree, the counsel of life, Eitz Chaim, which means cycles of regeneration. And you have counsel of the knowledge of good and evil, schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive behavior with distortion. Right? You have those two polarities. So you have two forms of nakash or incantation. And that incantation is done by the limbic system, which receive input from the amygdala, from which communicate the intention of your subconscious, right? So it's saying that this nakash, this limbic system, is what the incantation of these people are words and hormones that are centered around control, deception, reward, pleasure. That's why you see they engage in so much bungee jumping, NASCAR, extreme sport, because they get a thrill out of these pleasure expedition. They get a thrill out of conquering you, out of raping you. Crime and violence is not a problem. War is not an issue for them. It's just part of their nature. It's not our nature. It becomes a part of us when we deviate it, as Dr. Sebi would say, in our diet and in our thinking. When we begin to saturate our body with a high amount of sulfur, ammonia, it caused mutation. It changed our behavior as you melanin people. We started to behave recessive. So to add another component to this, to show you that we're not the same. Minister Enki highlighted this, and I did my independent investigation to verify this. Now, the biosynthesis that give rise to the production of eumelanin and pheomelanin, it starts off the same. Tyrosine convert into dopamine, then from dopamine into dopaquinone. And then in eumelanin people, that goes on to produce brown to black eumelanin. We have two forms, brown to black, blue, black, etc. But in Europeans, the sulfur and the ammonia comes in, the cysteine and the glutathione, and oxidize the dopaquinone to cysteine L-dopa. Now look up what cysteine L-dopa is. Cysteine L-dopa, which is the precursor to the sulfur-based pheomelanin, their poor light conductive melanin. Cysteine L-dopa is a catecholamine, flight or fight, pleasure stimuli, reward center, hormone, neurotransmitting hormone. So the very thing that make up their pigment cause them to always desire to be driven by their amygdala, their pleasure center, their reptilian complex. They always have a drive for power, pleasure, sex, reward. So that means then that explains why they have to create a social system that reflect the oxidative stress. Because when sulfur oxidizes the dopaquinone, this is called oxidative stress. This causes mutation. That's why they have a high level of cancer marker as compared to eumelanin people. They have a high level of proclivity to certain diseases because of they're recycling the sulfur that is causing tissue damage, DNA mutation. So they have to then create a social system that reflect the oxidative stress that's taking place in their biology. And that social system is what we see here: capitalism, socialism, liberal democracy. It's a world, as Bob Marley said, it's a world that fill you with lifelong insecurity. 9 to 5 working for that dollar and still can't make ends meet. You never have time for your family. You're always in survival imperative, survival mode. You're always behaving like them, stuck in your amygdala, stuck in survival imperative. And this is how they get us trapped in hip hop and singing derogatory music. This is how they get us trapped and selling our souls in Hollywood. Survival. Just for that dollar. So as Minister Enki would say, structure determines function. So if structure determines function, then biology determines sociology and psychology. So how dare Ngozi make that errant, disrespectful, conniving statement that we are all human, we are all the same, Europeans are Africans. To hell with that. Nasik, hand it over to you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme and eternal and powerful one of our forefathers of the Yaakov. That's it. We will be back with the last part 3, the incarnation of the Euro Gentile nations of the earth. That's what we're going to get into in part 3. So you got anything to say before we close out? He said he closed it.
Yeah, he closed it right there. But I will say this though. I do want to also, along with doing part 3, I want to bring Dr. Zedek back.
Yes.
You know, and I want to get more into the science of things. You know, and I want to dive more scientifically in our studies. You know what I'm saying? Along with what you just did, you know, and what we brought something to the table the other day about this the shield of David and how it reflects creation, right? I think we need to get into that because that kind of unlocks a lot of things too. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, Dr. Zedek, man, I appreciate you, my brother. You just shed a lot more light on the subject, and I look forward to part 3.
Hallelujah. Any closing song? A closing song?
Most definitely. Let's bring back that new joint.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Man, I see you're exceptional, man. The sound and nigga now, the sound is exceptional. Go on, my brother.
Shalom, 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 Dr. Baines Day.
Shalom.
Break his teeth. I see the beast coming forth the north, sparking in the dark. Jonah Ark, sending the arch with degrees from the east. Tanzania be fuck Illuminati, like Malcolm hold the shoddy. Enemy spotting the drop. I got you. Turn the city Gotham, music gothic. I was straight like the Shaka. Uptown spit fire vodka on 9-5 rock bronze, and Nazareth a war calm. Muslims call the Adon thing Shema. Oh Israel, we raise out of hell. Break gates, those enslaved, animated cape. Two-faced Jake Snake reside in the brain, stimulating lower hate. The collie you get aged with blood stains and post vamp. The lost amp ramming schizophrenics. Damn it, I see the puppet master disaster. Can't stop, muscle rock, I'm the master. Leeway got the globe, I'm the last dragon. Always be first. You drop a verse, I impose a y'all curse. Burst for truth, obey my thirst. Talk, get your jaw broke. Herb ass nigga, we made your whole all figures. Fuck Tommy Hill, no more slaves in the field. We ram any squad, keep it real. Never fake a dollar bill. Come close, get popped like pain pills. I see the blue still running me down in the wilderness in the end. We fulfill the will. We fulfill the will. With real skill. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. I destroy MCs. The science in my mind reigns supreme on this rap theme shit. I take it to an extreme like a black Lotus priest in a cipher. I eat you up like pieces of Reese's. Just the anthropology of my word currency. You fucking with me? You need an emergency surgery on the parts of your body from my acid main chemistry attacking the carbon of your bone anatomy. I put 99 pressure points in your body like cavities. Leave you there for a tragedy. On the ground, face down, you're leaking. Your soul's running out like batteries. Fucking with the Apache, with the Minecraft Suzuki. You better pistol whip from the butt of the battle gun. Like females getting fucked up and pointing movies and flicks behind my back. Suckers talk shit and my face on my dick, as well as your sister roulette. Play Russian if you want, watch you get sickle. Baby moms always wanna give me pussy tissue. Come closer, you thoughts that drop you, then stomp you and swamp your crew until I see your brains wasted on the ground like noodles. Stalk your family like Cujo. I'll blow up like atoms from the shooting up top booms and put fools in earth tombs like raccoons. You switch styles from straight to Sassoon. On the mic, you be babbling like baboons. Bust you like a balloon and assassinate your whole platoon. Like I was a con, you the enemy, American in Vietnam. Black cop bootlickers wanna be Nazis. Minds building on inferiority. Landy Ben Ami has a high superiority. I'm Elohim and with a powerful killer army. You can't harm me, back the fuck about me. Before you thoughts leave your brain soggy and your body holy with no matrimony, no ceremonies. What nigga? It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC. It's a mad, mad world. Check it 1, 2, 3. Let these niggas know I'm just a fly MC.
Get your weapon. I already have mine. That's my arms. Your sword's good, I admit. Still, if you should lose it, you're finished. always stay with